Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at the Transformers Generations Legacy United Dinobots, the Dinoforce box set. We also can call it the Dinoking box set. This was, I don't think it's like a super exclusive like SDCC thing, but it was revealed, and it is a box set of all 6 of the Dinoforce robots. And I will need to reference a paper to remember them all. We've got Kakuryu, Rairyu, Doryu, Yokuryu, Goryu, and Gairyu. I'm gonna get that wrong at some point. Please don't be too mad at me. But this is right. These were originally released as Grimlock and Friends, and now they are their intended colors. The Dinoforce guys. We've got 6 core class figures with some nice paint apps and I think some slight remolding, and they combine into one bigger dude. Starting out with Kakuryu, we've got a nice gold Triceratops with this, like, I really like this pearlescent white paint and these vents details. For a core class figure, he's got some nice painted details. He's can close up into his Triceratops form. He's got a little more paint on his frills and things like that, but he also comes with these gun pieces, which are unfortunately a little on the loose side, which is, you know, being like pretty new and stuff. It sucks that both the 3mm ports and the 5mm port are loose, but he still looks pretty good despite having kind of this odd tail, which we'll get into a little bit later. Then we've got Rairyu. He is a Brontosaurus. He comes with a cool missile pack, which we can take off him. He unfortunately is essentially a brick of the figure. Both limbs are fixed in 2 places, so nothing really changes here. Even for a core class figure, that is, to me, unfortunate. I think it's a sacrifice that was made to get the combined mode looking nice. The paint helps, but I would say out of all of them, this is definitely the weakest in dinosaur mode. Then we've got Doryu, our Stegosaurus. Probably in dinosaur mode, I'd say the second weakest. And the reason I say that is I think he looks good. I like the white and blue. That's kind of cool. I kind of wish his toes were painted blue to just make them seem like another set of spikes. But if you notice, like, his back and his front don't really align. I think I've got extra plastic. I tried carving out a bit on my knees to help things like really compress and get in line. The front legs are just molded. There's no movement there. The back, you can untab it and get a little bit of articulation out of it, but not much. And that's why I say he's kind of the second weakest of all of them, but he still looks good. Then we've got Yokuryu, our pterodactyl. Technically not a dinosaur, but, you know, people associate pterodactyls with dinosaurs, and I think he looks pretty good, especially you take him off his stand, you fold this piece back up. We've got a nice painted head with a little red eye. I dig that. He's obviously got, you know, robot mode parts, but as far as tiny pterodactyls go, he looks good, and he can flap his wings in 2 joint locations, which I do appreciate, so I dig all that stuff. Next is Goryu, which was originally our Grimlock. In terms of articulation, he's pretty good. He can move his head. I do like that. He doesn't have knees, but he does have ball-jointed thighs, which do help him kind of get into certain positions. You know, you can do some stuff with him, which again, for core class figures, I mean, these were originally $10 toys when they were originally released. I'd say I expect a little more. It's easier I feel like on vehicles because you can just give them wheels and they spin and do stuff. But for beast modes, and I guess he can splay his toes out. He can do that too. So, you know, you get a little bit of that action, even if it's kind of hard to actually get him to balance. But there you go, kind of thing. I think he looks pretty good also. I, once again, really like the colors, the white, this like pearlescent, I don't know, silver, and then same thing on his head. I think that looks pretty great. That looks really nice. Nicely painted teeth. And last but not least, Gairyu. Gairyu also comes with some surprising articulation. He has a fist tail, which, you know, is fine. You can twist it. That's about all you can do. I guess you can wag it up and down. But the head, The head is, again, painted nicely. That green paint helps make it pop. But he does have 4 moving limbs. So out of, if we're just talking the dinosaur mode, which is, I don't think the reason we get these guys, but if we're just talking dinosaur mode, I think highest to lowest in terms of ranking, we go Triceratops, Pterodactyl, Ankylosaurus, T-Rex, and then Stegosaurus, and then Brontosaurus. But these are Transformers. I've never reviewed the original versions of these molds, but I can review these guys. The transformation is pretty simple on all of them. It's mostly just flipping stuff out as needed, splitting legs here for Kakuryu, which I did have to go look up. We want to flip around and bring his fists around so they're facing up. We can open up where we were storing our gear and flip down his face. And we do reveal kind of a nice little robot head sculpt. I dig it. He does feel, unfortunately, wobbly and loose, but these are ball joints. They can be fixed. And we can give him, if we turn his axe around like so, we can give him his little axe, plus his gun has a nice 3mm port, so he can hold both his weapons, which I dig. In terms of articulation, the head can twist. And I think I'm just going to do these one at a time. The arms can go 360 before they start like running into stuff, but they do have the ability to go 360. And the legs can splay out far, but you know, they're not very strong. And he does actually have knees, deep bending knees. No ankle joints, but at core class, I'm not really expecting ankle joints. The big disappointment is just no elbows. I think even though these are core class figures at $10, I still would have wanted elbows on all of them. But that is Kakuryu. Oh, and we are going to take this piece, and all of them can store all their stuff, so that piece is just going to go on his back. Then Rairyu, we split his back open and flip out these leg pieces, open them up like so, open up his arms, and flip down this head. And this is the first time this has not popped off in that transformation, which is surprising. But here we have his robot mode. Again, we've got hip joints, a little different, much more limited in articulation in this regard. We do have very odd knees, but we do technically have knees. And we have shoulder joints that, again, oddly limited in terms of how far out they can go. No elbow or anything like that, but he does have some articulation, as well as a twisting head, which again, a nice G1 style head sculpt. I dig it. And his weapons were these missile pods. We can flip out these 5mm posts, and he does have ports on the back of his arms to hold his missile pods. And this part, like, he was the worst dinosaur mode. His robot mode isn't great, but it is kind of cool. I like the silhouette. I like how wide he is. I like his missile pods. I dig that a lot. That is a neat looking Rairyu. And yes, I am looking off to the side of the camera every time to make sure I'm referencing these names. All right, next is Doryu. Doryu, we're just gonna flip out his legs, splitting them and tucking away our Stegosaurus head, our teeny tiny Stegosaurus head with that teeny tiny Stegosaurus brain. Next, we can open up these arms and open up this tail. Flip it out far enough, flip that head around. And again, a very nice head sculpt. I dig it a lot. We do have almost 360 on the arms, but they are blocked by the tail, and there's really no way to get around that. We do have elbow joints here, which are fantastic. Look at that. We've got waist swivel. We've got decent splits and a nice deep knee bend. So he goes from the second worst dinosaur mode to a pretty dang good robot mode, better than the first two we've reviewed. After Doryu is Yokuryu, and Yokuryu also has a pretty good transformation. Oh, you know what? I forgot on Doryu, he gets a spear and a sword. Totally forgot. I would have liked more of these little weapons. Like the combiner weapon is cool, but more little weapons would also be nice. Then, okay, now we've got Yokuryu. And Yokuryu, we are going to flip out his legs. We're going to split the arms away from the body. Those also have elbows. Split the legs. We can fold down our pterodactyl head, fold up our robot head, and yeah, he looks a lot like Swoop. Flip back the wings, but we have a very posable pterodactyl here. Yokuryu has a good, really good neck articulation on the head. It doesn't just swivel, it goes up and down. That's awesome. It can waggle a little bit. We have good shoulder articulation. The wings get out of the way of the shoulders, which is fantastic. We have elbow swivel as well as elbow bend. We have a little bit of waist swivel, although we have to watch out for our pterodactyl head, which is okay. And we have a nice deep knee bend. Out of the core class figures, this one's the best one. I'm sure that's what people have been saying since Swoop came out. It's unfortunate that he comes with the dumbest weapon. His weapon is really just an arm. It has a little thing, so we can call it a gun, but he's just holding a fist. But he still looks great, and I think out of them, he's my favorite so far. So it's interesting that like in robot mode, these two are the best. Whereas in dinosaur mode, like this guy was the best. But yeah, those elbows they go far in terms of making the figures feel playable. After Yokuryu is Goryu. Goryu is pretty simple. It's the Grimlock transformation. We'll pop out his tail, flip down his legs, keep those arms open, flip those wrists around, and then open up his back, giving him his wings, splitting his legs, and here is Goryu. And this one surprised me. I mean, we do have a nice head sculpt. I like the Goryu head sculpt. But it's Grimlock, baby. I mean, if this is Grimlock, why doesn't Grimlock have elbows? Why does anyone else get elbows before Grimlock? It's very surprising to me, considering how much of the main character of the Dinobots Grimlock is. I was expecting them to have worked elbows into his budget. But, I mean, we do have a head swivel here, and it is a neat head, and it's cool that it's not a Grimlock head. We've got, 360 on the elbows. The wings can move out of the way, can go out that far, can swivel the wrist, splits, nice deep knee bend. So definitely not the same tier as the blue bots, but better than Rairyu. Jeez. So solid mid-tier. And then last, we've got Gairyu. Gairyu, you just take off his tail, flip things out. This is part I really like. His legs, his little Ankylosaurus legs, they peg in nicely. They don't click hard, but they have a place to go. Split the legs, come back here, kind of push those up, and then split the arms, flipping back our head. And again, unfortunately, we do not have elbows. And on top of that, we have another dumb arm gun. But we have what I think is a really characterful, flip his waist around, a really characterful head sculpt. I like that head sculpt a lot. Nice paint on the chest. It's interesting that in this mode, they definitely feel tiered. Like these blue bots are tier 1, green bots are tier 2. The other bots are maybe tier 2 in robot mode. I don't know. But the blue bots definitely stood out in terms of their articulation. Elbows go so far in making the toy more posable. It's unfortunate that with the increased budget, they couldn't remold the arms to give everyone elbows. And we'll talk about the budget in a second. But first, let's do some comparisons. So if we are comparing these to other core class figures, I mean, they do sit right around that size. They feel pretty good in that regard. They are obviously the smallest of the dinosaurs, but the Dinoforce has always kind of been its own thing. They are, buddies that you can have helping out one of your larger Decepticon bots, that sort of thing. They fit right into that role in this mode. I like them as core class figures. I think it's just an unfortunate reality that the core class price point is not giving you the best bang for your buck compared to like the deluxe price point. But they still look fantastic. I think the only thing left is to get these guys combined. All right, time to draw and announce the winner of Transformers Generation Studios Series 8630 Springer. We have over on the left all the comments on the video. This one was simple, just, hey, swing by our 24-hour Extra Life stream for Cincinnati Children's Hospital, which we ended up raising $2,835. Appreciate all the support and all the donations. We drew our winners. I announced them and contacted the winners. I've got boxes to pack up now. So we'll be doing that shortly. But everyone who wanted to enter the giveaway and left a comment, you got a little heart. And then over here on the right, my face, I recognize, is blocking it. Why don't we move me over to this side? There we go. Here was everyone who entered, who I've entered into the giveaway to keep track of all the names. And we have 32 entries, and our winner is Rand between 1 and 32. Our winner is number 1. Congratulations, number 1. That is Dustin Armstrong. Yeah, you popped in on the stream. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. We had a pretty good year for Extra Life. Cincinnati Children's Hospital we helped raise a total of $70,000, a little more than $70,000 for them. So that was awesome. And let's get back to the review. So we're going to start by taking off everybody's weapons. We're going to set some weapons down. We'll flip these back up and here. Take that off. Take that off. Well, you know what? We'll keep their arms because they'll use their arms. And then this piece comes off. So out of the weapons, we have two things we're going to do. We're going to take off this double blaster and we're going to combine it onto this gun. We get like a nice little deluxe-ish blaster. I dig it. Then we've got all these pieces. We can fold down this piece, which will go into this piece, and we can flip this around, and we've got this cool axe head. The axe head gets a knife, which this is going to be a point of complaint. Maybe this was molded in this prototype white plastic color, but with the rest of the axe being painted silver, this should have just been painted silver. It sucks that it wasn't. But the axe does get lengthened, so it's nice and big. I dig that. These are our two weapons, and then we can get into our limbs and such. We'll start out with Kakuryu. I did once again have to look. We're going to take off this piece, and we'll figure out what it finally is by splitting off our head. Hey, there is our Dinoking head sculpt. Looking pretty handsome. That kind of Japanese Bishojin style. I dig it. We're going to take our legs, reattach them together, flip them around, closing up his kind of torso piece. And then these pieces, we have tabs on the outside. We're going to flip them back in and kind of click it in place. Flipping up our Stegosaurus lower mouth. Same thing on this side. Flip it around, go in, click it nicely. And here we can take our robot mode head, our combined head, and stick it on top like so. And that'll be that for now. Next, we have Rairyu. His arms are going to go up like so, and his thighs are going to flip out like so. And that's literally all he needs to do. We can take this piece and we'll stick it on him because I forgot to do it once and it was very funny trying to do it later. So I'm just going to stick it on for now. There is our second chunk. Let's go to them feet. We are going to flip around the head of Doryu, close up our tail. We want to disengage this whole back section, flip up this piece. We can take our legs, close them up, close things up, and these tabs are going to go into these slots right here. These arms are going to come together and connect nicely right here. Kinda. We got to kind of finagle pieces together. And then these two pegs go into these ports right here. Like so. And with all that together, you're like, that's a leg. And I'm like, yeah, that, you know, it's kind of a leg. And we can stick on, let me make sure I grabbed the right foot. There we go. Stick on one of our feetsies, like so. Let's go ahead and do our other feetsy, Goryu. He's kind of an odd one. He's going to bring his arms together like so in front of his body, flipping up his T-Rex head, kind of covering it, flipping up this peg, flipping down this piece of his arm, his like chest piece, but flipping up this piece, and then closing up his back like so. And then this connects, and this piece is going to come in on the back, locking these leg pieces together. And we've got this piece to connect again. This little I-beam thing is going to come in on his like so. And that, as odd as it looks, is our other leg. Then we've got Gairyu. Take off his arm, combine these sections again, like so. Bring up that head, flip out this peg, close up his leg pieces, and this piece has a slot here that can fit right over the tab created by those leg pieces. And there is his left arm. And last, but certainly not least, we've got Yokuryu. And Yokuryu wants to take these arm pieces and flip them around, closing things up, flip up that head, flip up that head. Same thing on this side, flip those around, close things up, close up those leg pieces, and we can flip out. I can get my finger in there. That's actually a hard one to... There we go. Flip out this arm piece, rotating things around, popping off a wing because I'm just ham-fisting it. There we go. And then putting this forearm section on like so, 2 slots that go into that arm. We can flip around that arm, and we have all our chunks done. So let's get to combining them. We've got our 2 feet. They are going to take these sections, which, oh, I did forget to do one thing on him. I need to flip around these pieces and then rotate that waist. Get that piece popped off nicely. Okay, there we go. That looks a lot better. Okay, we can fit on peg, port, simple. Same thing on this side, port, peg, simple. Okay, then we've got what I think is the most satisfying part of the transformation, taking his lower waist and attaching his chest to it. We've got 3 pegs here, 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 ports here, one of which we've created, and we can lock things in pretty securely, like so. But that is not where things end, because these arms have ports in them, and they can peg onto these pieces, giving a lateral lock. But that's not all. We can also take the fists, and they go onto these pegs on the Triceratops like chest piece. I mean, that is a triple lock scheme. That feels really good. It doesn't click in the most satisfying way, but it feels dead solid. It is impressive that they were able to do all that at this scale. That might be the thing that I like the most about this toy, is how that locked into place. Then obviously we've got his arms. The arms are nice and simple. They have a peg. They can go into the side of these fists. Same thing on this side, like so. Give him his big old axe. Give him his not so big gun. Make sure his forearm stays where it should be. And here we've got Dinoking, just big enough that I have to adjust my camera up. But man, does he look good. I like it. I like it a lot. It is kind of odd. It is, you know, not our traditional combiner scale. Let's throw in Metasaur here real quick. So he kind of goes up to Metasaur's waist. That's about how tall he is. He is, you know, the size of a Voyager. Not super big, but he's just got a lot of character. I mean, it's probably partially the fact that Dinoforce, I don't think, has been in the States before officially. We've got third-party Dinoforce figures and things like that, but it's the unique color scheme. It's the anime nature of his head sculpt, which I've shown off. It's these big shoulders that look really nice. It's the surprising articulation. I mean, in this mode, we can twist the head. We have waist swivel. We do have the arm swivel. We've got elbows, which I appreciate. On both sides, we've got elbow curl and some wrist movement, so you can get that choppy action. We do have knees, which is impressive, even if things are fiddly. We've got a little bit of, you know, splits action, Let me get that piece back in here. There we go. Like I said, we've got knees. We have ankle tilt, which again, I demonstrate by taking this piece off. Not the most sturdy connection, but just a surprising amount of articulation for a core class combiner. I think he's great. I think if you were paying $60 for this guy, you're getting $10 core class figures, 6 of them, plus everything you can do. That is great value. Unfortunately, you're not paying $60 for this guy. You are paying $80. So is there an extra $20 of value to get these guys versus getting the Dinobot versions? I know there have been remolds. I think the feet are new. I think maybe the weapons and some of the heads and stuff are new. But he doesn't feel like super duper sturdy. He doesn't feel like they didn't give all the little guys elbows. Maybe I'm just being a greedy little piggy, but I don't think that this is an $80 box set. I think it is a great $60 box set. And hopefully it hasn't sold out, so it'll go on sale so that other people can enjoy it as a $60 box set. That being said, it's not like I'm not recommending him. I have him and I enjoy him. I don't know why this, like the instructions tell you to stick it out like that. Why don't you just, I guess it gets in the way of the other leg, but I think that just looks so much better. I think it's a really cool $60 box set. I think if you pay $80 because you really want the Dinoforce colors, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that, you know, the value isn't necessarily there, but it does a lot of stuff. So this was a look at Transformers Generations Legacy United Dinoforce Dinoking. Not the strongest recommendation. I really like the toy, just not the price point, but it's still like very solid. Well, it's not very solid, but it's still decent. And it just makes me happy, so I want to recognize my biases. Things like the way the chest locks in 3 different ways is just awesome. That's combiner stuff that I like. That's why I like the Combiner Wars Devastator so much. I hope we get the same sort of interlocking locking system that on the new Devastator. But that is it for today's review. Thanks everybody for watching. I know this was a long one, but it was a whole box set of 6 figures. So thanks for being patient with me. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye!